Okay, welcome to another episode of Create Brave. In the studio today, I have ErinShort with me. Erin is twice Tech Entrepreneur of the Year, recognised by Microsoft, founder and CEO of a groundbreaking tech product, currently CPO of the world's largest IV company, and a good friend of mine. And I thought that I knew quite a lot about you, Erin. And from the conversation we've just had prior to starting this interview, it sounds like I'm going to discover a whole lot more.
Yes. Firstly, thank you for having me. Today we are, it's the first time I'm going to talk really openly about what we was just talking, as we said, this accolade stuff that you introduced someone with. And we're going to talk about how that happens, but how that happens from like in a real true manner, from my experience anyway. And I think, I'm excited. And I think it's time to share a story that I think it's unbelievable. It's really weird. And yes, we are good friends, and I love that we're good friends, and this is why I'm here to do this with you, to talk with a friend, and just us.
Yeah.
But I've never said it out loud. My close friends, like, who are speaking hushed terms about all this stuff. So I'm going to be open and honest about how you can push into a place where you can start getting recognised for your stuff.
Well, I feel deeply privileged that you've chosen Create Brave as the platform to be able to share this. And I know that your intention in doing so, in sharing your story, is to reach out, I guess, and to share some of the lessons. And inspire feels like a quite synthetic word to use in this situation, but I guess that there is an element of that as well.
I think when I sat at home and I've been sat thinking about how I talk about this and what I'm going to talk about. I think that there's a part of me and there's a part of like this experience that I think if you can share the things you've been through as a guide for someone else and be like, I have gone through probably worse things than you can imagine, and we'll talk about that and what that's done for me and how that's changed us and the bits it takes from you, but the bits it gives. And I want to be really authentic about the guide that I can offer someone is I would class myself as successful. I am in a nice place in my life. I have the things around me that you would say like, okay, and I'm not finished climbing up the hill. And I think a lot of people when they tell the stories are like, oh, I'm all at the top of the hill. I'm still not I'm not a solved and full person. But what I do think is that to be able to guide someone to be like, hey, this happened or that happened with real crazy, like I'm going to go into some, but not all, but like high level stuff about, okay, well, this guy's not, he had a bit of a rough time and he was sat on his mum's couch and stuff like that. We're going to go through a period of my life when I was homeless, when I was a kid. We're going to go through some child abuse, quite heavy child abuse. We're going to talk about drug addiction, not mine. We're going to talk about loneliness, and then we're going to talk about how that does to all of this happened before I was 15.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's get into the story. Everyone has a story. Yours, like you say, is far from over.
Yeah.
But it's very tempting to, like I did, introduce you with the accolades and the twice Tech Entrepreneur of the Year, and the letters after your name and all this type of thing.
Yeah.
But if we can really get into the nuts and bolts and the authenticity of this story, can we talk about the, I guess, dichotomy between that representation of success and where the real Erin has come from?
Yeah. And I think, success is an outcome of, for me, is an outcome of a lot of bad things that I was able to turn into good. And when my life started in a very peculiar way. Had a mum, had a dad, and my mum is paranoid schizophrenic, and that's drug induced. So some of my earliest memories of me as a child, or me, about 6, 7 onwards. If I can swear on this podcast, they're fucked, absolutely fucked. My mum was a horrible parent. Terrible in most ways, and me and my brother went through. God, obviously you can't remember before you were like 4 or 5, but from 6 onwards, I remember school was intervening a lot. There was warning signs going out, and my life, my home life, from the moment I understood what home life was, really wasn't one. And that was, as a kid, you don't really understand, like, why doesn't my mum like me? And I have an undeniable amount of proof to be like, well, your mum's meant to love you, right? And your mum's meant to be there for you and look after you. When I was from 6 to 9, was visibly beaten a lot, both physically and mentally. I was on the child protection list, and I never ever came off, me and my brother. So yeah, we had to go to like before and after schools.
Right.
Do you know, like when you go to have the little thingies? Because they had to do food checks on us. It's not because we didn't have money at home or stuff. My mum was just in such a strange place in her own life that she was just taking it out on me and my brother.
What was your feeling toward? Can you think back to Erin at 6 years old and think about what was your feeling towards your mum during that period? Because it's so ingrained within us, in our nature, to love our parents, and that's what we're taught, to love our parents, and without really knowing what a normal parent-child relationship looks like, your benchmark to go off was the way that your mum treated you.
Yeah.
So did you think, was there a perception at the age of 6 that was love?
No, I really realised it wasn't. Like, I pretty early, because you notice other people's stuff. And,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my mum beating the shit out of me. And you quickly recognise as a child, I think obviously at 6 was like, why doesn't my mum like me? What am I doing wrong that my mum doesn't want to be my friend?
Yeah.
And it's like, if I had asked a kid to build a shelving unit, I said 6-year-old build a shelving unit, come out with rubber hammers and glue. You wouldn't know how to do it. So like the same as a child trying to look at a parent figure, being like, oh, well, how am I meant to help this? It's her decision. Like, mum, it was her decision to drink. It was her decision to do drugs. It was her decision to not make school dinners for me and brother.
Was there any like support for you at that time, or do you think that was a like fast track into self-sufficiency?
And one thing I had, do you know when people go on podcasts and be like, I had the worst teachers?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. Everyone said I was going to do shit. I was like, first off, I've never met a teacher that doesn't want to be a teacher. They'll just leave their job. Yeah. So I was saying, if there's a fireman that just wouldn't come into my house. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what they're trained to do, right?
Nobody believed in me.
But
I still, against all the odds.
Yeah, at 6, I come up with my first £1 billion idea. No, I remember, so... when it got intervened, I remember we were doing a school test and I couldn't pick up the pen. My hands were broken. Yeah, my fingers were broken. I didn't know my fingers were broken. I was 6. My fingers were broken, and I didn't know how to write. I couldn't write. So it was all in a little test, and we were like, whatever we had to draw, and I couldn't pick the pen up. And the teacher came over and asked me, and she looked at my hands. And I was like, I don't know. I was just like, they were sore. And then I remember she was lovely. She obviously had to report it and cut my ears. Oh my God. And then the woman I was looking at, because I couldn't hear, so I was like looking up at this other woman who was in like the teacher's office, and she just burst out crying.
Oh my God.
So the woman behind me is holding my ears, and then the woman in front of me is crying. I'm just like, I don't know what's happened. And yeah, I had fractured fingers and like most of my fingers. I can't straighten my hands out.
And what happened? Did anyone do anything?
No, and this is what comes on to, like, I never ever turn the other cheek. One of my big problems in my life is I've never turned the cheek, and I don't believe in it. Because no one did anything. Wow. And I needed someone to do something and not turn the cheek. I needed it. I needed someone to be like, this is fucking far too much. This little boy's going through it. But the school, teachers were great, school was great, and then the child services kicked in almost immediately. And then, yeah, when you're 7 or 8, I'm like 7 or 8 at this point. I've got my father figure isn't in my life at the minute, for good measure as well. But he gets it. Don't worry, he comes around. Yeah, I used to. The woman that would come round, she'd make me take my top off to make sure I hadn't bruises on me, like check between my toes and stuff. It was violent. Yeah. Like, my growing up was more violent than probably you've seen in your whole life, and was in a small period of my life. And it's not like small amounts. Like, it was like I said, it was big and it was heavy.
And that I mean, the weight of that, how is that like manifested through your life? I don't want to jump too far ahead. I know that there's so much to talk about here, but like you, even just talking to you now, the way that you're sharing this with me, I almost feel like you're seeing the things that you saw.
Oh, I visit it often.
Yeah.
I have to visit it often. If you protract a little boy that far out of their life, so
Yeah.
you get them, I believe you can push someone out of the realm of what humanity genuinely feels like.
Wow.
You can push and push, and
Yeah.
you can push someone past like how they actually feel, or how they understand they feel. And I visit that time in my life often, and I have to go back to it because it will. It's a wound that will never heal. And I believe in therapy. I believe in self-help. I believe in getting fit. I believe in like working hard because they're my forms of it. But what am I meant to tell the 6-year-old or the little kid? And I had both his hands broken by his parent. He doesn't have, his packed lunch isn't going to come, and the school's going to intervene. And it manifests itself in it was like a foundational block of being like, I didn't realize obviously at the time, the thought in my head was like, I just want my mum to like us. It wasn't, I was like, I remember having a conversation with myself. It's like, I don't even care if she really loves me. I just want her to like me and stop being mean to me. And I'm a kid. So when it comes through as your life, and you go past that stage, foundationally, you're like, if I can sit through that and sit through someone else's pain, the pain I can put myself through on my own choice must be far greater. Because I can sit through a pain that I didn't pick.
Yeah.
I can sit through someone else's pain and I can endure it, which means any pain that I would like to pick in my own life. And when I mean pain, everything that good comes with suffering. In some way, and suffering isn't always bad. Like suffering in the gym isn't bad. Like suffering to teach or whatever isn't bad, but it comes with a certain amount. And as a kid, obviously I didn't understand that, but what I did understand was, hopefully this is going to get better.
Will you ever understand what your mum did and why she did it? And is it, like, can you forgive?
And absolutely not. Like, categorically, never in my life. My whole view on this is fuck you or fuck you forever. Like,
Right.
never ever. When I meet and you meet mums and you meet like strong and powerful women and you like good families, and I look at my mum and I think, you're taking your violence out on a fucking 6-year-old, like 7, 8, and it went on for years. This is not like this was a 3-year period. Fuck you for eternity. Yeah. It's never ever going to change. I never speak to you. I'm never going to see you. You made your choice, and I'm going to hold you in prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, and people forgive and forget. You're a better person than me. Go off and be a better person. Like, love that for you, not for me. I'm never going to. I will forgive. I can understand because she had her own stuff going on, but it's unforgivable. And I like stuff being unforgivable. By the way, I think there's a moral standard that we're like, yeah, fuck, just be like,
yeah. I mean, like, to even pretend in any level that I can relate to the horrors that you experienced at such a young age is ridiculous. So I won't even try. But just that little element of your absolute resoluteness around fuck you and fuck you forever is, there's nothing I can say about that. We have such a narrative at the moment where it's like to forgive and to forgive and to forgive. But obviously this is this is how you have dealt with and are dealing with what you knew was absolutely, categorically, and will always be forever wrong.
100%. And what I believe, and if whatever, my view on my own life is my own.
Yeah.
What I believe is that if by forgiving someone who's damaged you that far or is willing to take that much from you for no choice of your own, is by forgiving them, you release a boundary over them.
Yeah.
They know, my mum knows that I don't forgive her for it.
Yeah.
And
do you think she cares?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, and it makes, absolutely. And this comes on to
is she sorry?
I couldn't give a fuck. I couldn't care if she's sorry every day. I couldn't care if she's sorry for the rest of her life.
Right.
I couldn't care if she goes around town telling people she's sorry.
Yeah.
You think about your action beforehand, not after. And to do it for so many times. Share the partner as well. Like, well, it wasn't just getting hit by a woman.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad. And if I really sat, and maybe I'll come back and tell you further and the deep and
Yeah.
the dark and take you into the woods. Like and I couldn't care about how someone, because it detaches you from them.
Yeah.
So this happened from I was 6 to 9.
Yeah.
Then, when I was 9, my mum was using drugs when I was a kid. My mum was using drugs when I was in the womb. So I have a problem with my heart. Thanks. Yeah, it was fucking great work. But again, I couldn't give a fuck. Like, that's her own shit. Mm-hmm. It affects me, but I won't let it be like, I won't let it control us. So we go from 6 and then we get to 9. And like by this point, right, as we get further into the story, this is going to be, start to fatigue you. And this is what I'm living. So from 6 to 9, the first part about me I've built. I didn't build it for any other reason than I built an imagination.
Yeah.
So my imagination when I was a kid is I can imagine having a better life. I can imagine my mum and my parents liking me, and so I can imagine having a good time.
Yeah.
I can imagine feeling safe at home. I can imagine having nice school dinners. I can imagine my mum not coming in drunk and beating my brother up when we're in bed.
Yeah.
I can imagine all these things, and it makes my imagination strong because I can't live in the world that I'm in now. I can't. You can't put someone through that, and then so I have to live in a world that I make up for myself. So I really struggle with it now. I'm never fully present in a room. I'm always in the next day, or I'm in the next week, or I'm in the next month, or I'm in the next project.
Yeah.
And that stems from here, because that stems from that 6 to 9, because that period of my life was like, you can't be here because here isn't safe. So go into your head and get into your mind. And so, and that's when that's the space that's the space I started to build. That in my head and in here is the only room in our living world that's ever going to truly belong to you, and no one else can disturb.
Yeah.
Your mind is 100% belongs to you. It's the strongest asset you have, but you have to talk, like, you have to talk and understand it. And when I mean that, you can't just like, it belongs to you, but not all of it. Mm-hmm. There's other bits of you that talk to yourself in there. There
are other voices.
There are. I've got fucking lights.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I fuck them. I like them.
Yeah, me too. I like my voice.
Yeah.
I'm never lonely.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I'm talking some shit. I'm in there. And I had to learn to talk to myself, basically. I had to learn to talk to myself and make this life. And then, so I'm 9 now. I've moved around by this point. I've been to 12 different schools.
Wow. Whoa, you're 9.
I've been to 12 schools. My mum moved me to...
you're moving.
Yeah.
You're moving every term.
Yes. It was so I had the reading age of 4 or 5.
Why were you moving? Was that because your mum just moving you, or because schools were moving you, or...
Mum was moving us.
Right.
You couldn't even track my school records. My mum was moving me because... Well, drug abuse, and it wasn't that we didn't... My mum was functioning.
Yeah.
But...
There's a lack of understanding of the need for consistency or care over you, I guess, as well.
She didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
She couldn't give a fuck. I was like, to her, I was just some lad that just followed her around and called her mum. Like, outside of that, 12 times.
Yeah.
Like, what am I meant to do in my life? I can't read. I'm like almost going into year 6. I can't read and I can barely write. It's terrible. My mum moved me to Ireland once and then put me back 2 years in school because she didn't even check if the schools had space for me to go there. Oh. I've got no friends because no one knows us. So I just play on my own in my head and just run around doing my own stuff.
This is the power of the imagination.
Power of my imagination. But it's that's terribly lonely for a child. Imagine moving a child around 12 times, beating them up when they're at home, and they've got no friends at school because they don't know anyone.
Yeah.
And now they're trying...
the age that you're talking is the age of my niece and nephew, so that's why this is very pertinent to me. Yeah.
He's 9.
They're 8 and 9. They're like...
Imagine if you went home and you put your fist behind it, how much you could hurt your niece and nephew.
Yeah. Well, it's just... can't even...
Exactly.
It's not even...
But this is where I'm trying to get like the mind of how far back in the cave my life started.
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh, my mum doesn't like, or I don't feel loved, or I don't feel liked, I completely understand that, but I have an unequivocal amount of proofs that I'm not loved, I'm not even liked, I can barely be tolerated by people that was meant to love you. Yeah. And that, what I'm saying is, that's, for me, that has put me in a position where I can do things that that other people struggle with, because I've always had to do things that other people struggle with. I have to.
Yeah.
I have to have gone there. But
This inbuilt resource of resilience, imagination, self-reliance. I'm going to have to make it happen for myself. You know, even in, many people have difficult challenges when they're growing up, but there's often someone they can turn to.
Oh yeah, no.
It feels from your story that really the only place you had to turn was inside, inwards.
Yeah. And this gets much worse.
Let's go.
We're
Move
9.
us forwards. We're 9. Right?
We're 9. We're together here. We're 9. My mum does something atrocious. The worst thing you could do to other humans. One day I'll talk about it fully, but something that you shouldn't do to yourself, and you shouldn't do to other people. And it was the most terrifying experience of my life. And it completely changed how I viewed people. It completely changed how I viewed it was really bad. It was, yeah. And we had 9 police officers around the house. We had 2 ambulance services. We had an old man put in hospital, and my mum went to rehab for 3 years. And even when the police got there, they were terrified. It was so bad. And it was a first real encounter about how truly bad something can get. I thought it was bad. That was if me and my brother didn't make the decision we made when we made it, we would have not been. That would have been that. So this is I'm talking now. This is the crescendo of the orchestra, and this is when I really was like. I'm 9, by the way. I play with Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And I'm calling the police on my mum.
Yeah.
I'm screaming. I'm getting all the services here. I'm run outside the house. I'm in fucking Thomas the Tank Engine fucking pajamas, crying. There's blood. It was horrible. And the police come. She was arrested. And she was
in front of you. So what you were?
Yeah. They had to call the police. Oh, it was I was like, fuck this. It's like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, I remember sat at this dinner table being like, what? I was like, how is this anywhere near fair? And it's like,
I mean, it's going to sound like an insane question, but just I'm trying to understand how at the age of 9, it's such a formative part of somebody's life when they are really truly just stepping into the world as themselves and understanding who they are and their place in the world. At the age of 9, you suddenly, you're conscious of everything that's around you. You're conscious of relationships. You're conscious of people. You're conscious of your impact, where you stand. It's almost like I couldn't imagine anything like that happening and accepting that it's reality. It was like it's not real.
It washed over me. I can imagine that's what it feels like to drown.
Right. Yeah.
And and the story and the part of the reason I bring it here and the reason I tell it is at that age, it was like there's a part of me that absolutely categorically died out in that house, 100%, and I carry it around with me.
Yeah.
But I don't carry it around me because I'm sad about it. I don't carry it around me, oh, boo. If I did, I wouldn't be here sat with you. I wouldn't have the things I have. I wouldn't talk to people the way I talk to them. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, I didn't have a choice if that was going to happen. I didn't have a choice that she was going to do them things. I didn't have a choice that I only have, and only will ever be presented one choice is, someone's done something really bad to me. I'm going to let it live with me forever, or can I look after it?
Yeah.
And when that happened, and I was like, as I got older, and I realised, and there's a part of me that's still in that house. There's a part of me that's still
in the Spider-Man pajamas.
In the Spider-Man pajamas, yeah. Street. But I'm in great grief all the time.
Yeah.
Because there's not a little boy that just dies there.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a part of my mind that's always going to probably live here. and no one else will ever visit it.
Yeah.
No one else will ever experience it. I won't even let anyone near it.
Yeah.
But I do that out of my own. That's my own choice. Like, that's how I keep that part of me safe. And by doing that, it allows me. This was one of the first time I realized. I went, fuck, I'm whatever. Fuck it. Find out. Like, it was such a terrifying part of my life. But then I realized that I can be the terrifying part of my own life. I was like, what about if I just didn't give a fuck about this? And I was like, fuck this. I was like, yeah, send her to prison. Send her.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was like, literally, okay. Yeah. I had a little cry. Fine. Kid. And then, did I feel sorry for myself anymore? No. And then this is when I literally just stopped feeling sorry for myself. Unless I'm really fucking poorly, I never feel sorry for myself. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's happened. I'm like, yeah, well, cool. It doesn't matter because I realized at the moment, like, the stuff that I was going through mattered so much, and is like so cripplingly bad. If I was outside doing drugs or I was outside drinking and I told you this story, you'd probably give me some change. That's just how it is. But that's the choice, and that's the beautiful gift of a lot of pain. As long as you can step into it and visit it, and it hurts so much, and it feels so shit, and no one wants to talk about it, and you sit there on your own, and no one else can understand it. But pain doesn't have a face. It has a sense. You have probably been through a crazy amount of pain in your life, and people that watch this are going to have more pain. And guess what? More's coming. It's coming. It's marching its way down your timeline. It's going to fucking hurt. You're going to feel shit about it. But you either let it go through, or you can look after it. And this is the first time, and I was like, this is the only thing I can do with this now is make something from it.
Yeah.
And this isn't even the end, but like,
no,
fucking 9.
I know. Yeah, I was thinking like,
sound like a 40-year-old man that's gone through 2 divorces.
Yeah. I mean, to have this, however clear that was in your mind, it does feel like something switched in that moment of absolute rock. But I mean, really, the way that it looks to me is that your life could have gone in one or another direction at that moment. At the age of 9.
But it still does. My life can. I wrestle with this every day. And I'll wrestle with it. I wrestle with this every day, and I'm going to continue with that.
Yeah.
Every day for the rest of my life. Like, when you talk about, like, I love that. Go do therapy, go do self-care, do all that stuff. That's not how mine works. Is every day I wake up, I pick up my sword, and I go and fight this terrible dragon that has happened to me. I kill it every day, and then I rest.
Yeah.
And to fight that terrible dragon is I go and do really hard things at work. I go do really hard things in my personal life, and I go to try to be a good person.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here, but I know that you entered the army very young.
I did.
And do you think that this was, I mean, I don't know if we're even at that point of your story yet, but it feels like that makes sense for someone to feel like they're stepping into a life of purpose, but also taking control of this feeling.
So I joined the army at 16.
I mean,
crazy young, right?
So young.
Best job ever. But the reason I joined the army at 16 is because, and I'll go through, well, this is the joining bit, is that when I was 9, that all happened, and I went to live with my dad.
Right.
Till I was 15. Guess who was having fights at home? Again. Being from one parent one parent being bad is quite common. Having 2 that are bad.
Yeah.
My dad made me homeless when I was 15.
Right.
I was out on the streets. Yeah, on the streets. Slept on the streets for 8 weeks. I was robbing people's houses that I knew. Yeah. I'd wait till you go to school and I'd rob your house. And then I would steal from the shop. I wouldn't take your money. I've got no use for money. I'd just have some food. I was sleeping in my local village. I know. And I was terrified of the dark. Terrified. Because obviously bad things happen to me at night. And so I was scared of the dark. And then my dad wasn't ready to be a dad. Fuck him as well. It's not a problem. Forever. And he kicked me out. Kicked my brother out as well before me. I was 15. And he knew, I've come from all this bad stuff. He's picked me up from rehab. He's picked me up, literally the police are doing a handover of my mum getting dragged off into rehab. I'm stood outside. I'm 9 years old. I've got Spider-Man pajamas on or whatever they were. I've got a little bag, like a little stick with a...
Yeah.
Like I'm off. Like, do you know what I mean? And then he's turned up, and I was like, brilliant. Like my life, I can have my childhood back.
Stability. It's my father. This is someone who brought me into this world and therefore has an obligation to look after me.
Absolutely. This is second time.
One job.
1 out of 2 is bad luck.
One job, mate.
2 out of 2 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then this is the question you ask yourself: if you come from that amount of monsters, are you not one? And I am one, but I just have it my own way. I know there's terrible holes missing out on me. There's terrible places of me that are incredibly dark, but I don't feel bad about that, and I also just make sure I keep them away from people. Then you can't, and what I say to people is I'm not ashamed to say that. Yeah. I'm not ashamed that I've come from 2 horrible people, yeah. So there's horrible parts of me. I take power from it to be like, there's horrible parts of me, and I keep them away from all of you.
Yeah.
And I direct them. It's like just being covered in... I walk around and I feel like I'm covered in petrol all the time. I could just be set ablaze like this.
Right.
So anyway, my dad kicked me out when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I'm homeless, and I'm stealing. I'm breaking into cars. And I remember I used to walk around at night time, and I'd look into people's houses, they're my friends, and I'd just look into that, like they would just see them in their house. I didn't
doing normal stuff.
I didn't go and ask them for anything or speak to them, but I was so scared of the dark that I just wanted to be like around where there was lights. And then I remember laying in the dark. It was cold, but it wasn't like it was summertime when I got kicked out. And I just remember laying there and being like, I can't, like, the dark didn't seem as scary anymore. And then it got less scary, and then I didn't mind it. And then I knew that if I was in the dark, no one could see me.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, like, you would never know that I'd, like, stolen from you or something. I lived on a lot of farmland.
Yeah.
So there's always, like, stuff going around. And then my friends took me in. So I have like 8 mums now. Like it's ridiculous. So my friends kind of realised that this is happening. The school realised this is happening. And I go back to it. One of the school teachers was like, I'm going to adopt you. So you get like, I'll adopt you. Yeah, he's like, came straight up to me. This guy called Mr. Custer. He's like, I'll adopt you. Like, the school was calling my parents and just like literally just calling my dad and be like, you are a prick.
Yeah.
Hang up.
Yeah.
Like they were so pissed. And then he was like, yeah, I'll come live with you. You can come live with us. But it's about to turn 16. So it's like, look, the best we can do, we're going to put you the highest level of EMA, which is like this school thing at the time where they give you like money. It's like, we've got you on no classes, just come to school. All your meals are free. We'll give you some money. I was like, okay. And then my friends took me in. They was like, we're going to get you through school. All of us are going to get you through school.
Wow.
I have met the most incredible people in my life, like ridiculous. They took me in, they cared for me, they looked after us, and they helped me. I was like, this is in that moment when I was there, and I remember I have no one now, and I have unrefutable proof that no one who's ever said they love me even like us. And that's a really scary and really triggering thing for someone to hear.
Yeah.
That everyone that's meant to love me doesn't even like me.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't get much worse than that, surely. So then everything I've ever done is always upwards. So you've got a kid now who's got like an imagination that points to the sky. Yeah. Because that's the only place they can look. And now you've got all this proof that you can go through so much stress. And I'm still like, I didn't take it internally. I was like, I haven't done this. Can't tell a 15-year-old kid. 15. And then I was like, my friends took me in and they took me around, and I realized I was like, I am full of rage.
Yeah. I mean, understandably.
Oh, God.
I was waiting for the rage to appear.
Oh, fuck. Oh, it's so bad. I'm still now.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so bad.
Yeah.
But I also think that anger is you should be angry about stuff. But don't mix anger with violence. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be violent about things. You don't know everyone can go around being violent, but you can go around being angry about stuff. Yeah. It's a boundary. If someone gets sad and goes, "That what you said makes me really sad," you're empathetic to it. Yeah. If I was like anger is just a different form of sadness. You've made me really angry because you've hurt me so much that I'm not just sad about it now. I'm angry because you've gone so far past. So I was like, look, I'm fucked here. This is bad now. I need to, like, I am walking around with 1,000 chips on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I was like, and also, I didn't really care, and I really struggled to care about the value of what I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck it, join the army. Like,
I mean, I can see how you got to that point. Yeah.
quite, yes.
I mean, it feels like seeking out stability, you know, a community, like your group of friends who are people who are, you know, that they're obligated to look after you and see you progress and give you a reason for being, a sense of self-worth.
At 15, I wanted to go somewhere and punch stuff.
Yeah.
That's why, and I was like, where can I go somewhere?
Yeah, where I'm allowed.
And fucking punch things a lot.
Yeah.
And like, they'll be like...
They'll think I'm really good for punching stuff.
Hey, yeah.
They'll say do it again.
They'll say do it again. This guy's got something about him.
Yeah.
He likes doing some punching.
Yeah.
I got to the army, and obviously they got all my police records. They've got everything.
Right.
They're like, even my boss come in, and he was like, I need to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
He was like, you're either a pathological liar, or I'm really sorry all this has happened to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, then he went through and he called, and he was like, yeah, okay, you're pretty cooked.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And the army for me is the army was the best experience of my life.
Yeah.
I never talk shit. I do talk shit about the army, but if you enjoy it in the right way, the army is the best job ever.
Yeah. I know. This is. I mean, as I said at the beginning, we're friends, known each other for many years, 6 years or so now, and whilst we never talked really about your upbringing, we have talked about the army.
Oh, I love the army
because you love the army.
I love the army. It's fucking crazy. Like, and the army teaches you so much. And I knew I was so angry, but I knew when I got there and I had like Justin Bieber hair. They do the thing in the film where they shave your head.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had really long hair, so like, I was getting bullied for that. Then my first day in the army was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because my name's Erin, isn't it? So it's a girl's name. So the people who put me in, and then
I feel like we didn't introduce that properly. Erin is a man.
Erin is a man.
Erin is a man. We should have said that at the beginning for those of you that are listening.
Yeah, please. God, yeah. No, please. I've had this problem my whole life. So the army didn't ask itself that question, of course. Yeah. And so there's two groups of people. Obviously, all the guys, because they're not mixed. And then my name's been called over. I'm just stood with a group of girls and me because they've got my name wrong.
You were like, "This is going to be great."
I was like,
"I am in."
No.
The army's even better than I thought it was going to be.
About 100 meters, that I see a group of like veteran, like our instructors, just staring at me, and I'm like, I feel like this administration is about to get blamed on me. And I basically had a guy sprint at me on day one. He was like, "Are you fucking joking me? You're some kind of fucking paedophile? Why you stood here?" And I was like, "Sorry, mate. I didn't call him mate, by the way. You never
No,
called.
you
I was like, I'm so sorry.
So
I've been called here." And he was like, "Yeah, bet you have." I was like, "No, this is the group." And he just absolutely went at me. Like, he was like making me run up and down. I was like, right, brilliant. Day one, I've made friends.
You were like, "I'm just going to go for the army. I'm going to stay under the radar.
Oh, no.
I'm just going to do my thing."
No thing, yeah. They got my commander
Day one.
down. Yeah, I had long hair like this. And they got my commander down and was holding it up and they were taking pictures, shaving it.
Oh, God.
And, best experience ever. Like, and this is the army is just so bullshit. Oh, it's so bullshit. Yeah, there's a thing called the tree of knowledge.
Okay.
So if you don't answer a question, say I asked you a question, you was like, I don't know, and you didn't know it.
Yeah.
You'd get pointed at a tree.
Yeah.
And go ask the tree of knowledge. The tree of knowledge is usually quite far away.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you run, you still don't know the answer to the question. And when you get there and you speak to the tree, people sometimes will make sure you're like, you'll shout at this tree.
Yeah.
Come back and be like, what's the tree saying? You'd be like, still don't know. And they'd be like, ask that tree of knowledge.
Oh my God, I'm going to do this with my team.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
This is genius.
It's an amazing.
I'm going to do this with my team.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I love that. Go and speak to the tree. Let me know when you...
Tree of knowledge. And also, speed of 1,000 gazelles.
Yeah.
I asked the question once, worst question I've ever asked. So one of our corporals, when we was this is all in training, he was like, at the speed of 1,000 gazelles, get up the stairs. I was quite new to this. I said, "See, Goro, what's this difference? Like,
The speed of one
there's
gazelle.
one gazelle. How did 1,000?
Like they're all still running at peak gazelle speed.
My body, the thing, that man run me.
He was like, go and speak to the tree of knowledge.
No, I know. I got to speak to fucking every tree. Like I was getting run around, and I got absolutely smashed to pieces. But the army, we used to have like 1 minute cigarettes or like one drag cigarette.
Oh, okay.
So you'd light your fag, and then they would watch you smoke. Like they'd be like smoke that in one drag. And like you're like 16 or 17 at this point. These are like fully grown like men.
I mean, to be fair, I went to grammar school, so it was a bit like that as well.
Oh really? Nice. Just one. The thing is, you do it. You tense into it because you're not going to get one for hours. Tense into it, and then you'd be like, right now, run over there, and because they'll just do it for their own amusement. Yeah, and they just do weird stuff. I seen a guy once spit. Oh god, do you know when someone like really flams up a spit? He flamed up a spit, like we was all smoking, flamed up a spit, and like spat it there. And there is like in the army, like there are some fucking wolves. Don't be fooled that there are not some fucking crazy people in there that should remain to be in there. Please don't ever don't let them out. They should be in there. It's like one eye like this. He's like leant around. He's like, "Is a boss that went fucking pick that up?" He went, "What?" He went, "Pick it up and put it in your pocket." The phlegm. Yeah, the phlegm. And there's 20 people in this. 20 people. And he went, "Yes, Corporal." And he went, "What do you want me to do?" He's like, "Put your hand in it, pick it up and put it in your pocket." And everyone was like, "No way is this guy going to pick up this massive spit and put it in his pocket." And I watched him. I was like, "Oh, fuck." Oh, God. I watched him and he put it in his pocket.
Oh, God.
He put it in his pocket, he had his shorts pocket on. And then as he put it in, he went to walk off. He went, no, stay there. I was like, he's going to make him finish his cigarette. You just stood with him, made him finish his cigarette with his pocket full of spit.
Oh, God.
It's crazy. It's mental. Can't touch the grass. You can't touch the grass in the army. It's not. The grass doesn't belong to you. Never go anywhere near it. If you even look at it, there's like there's like bosses that just be like, "Don't touch the fucking grass." I've cut grass with scissors.
What are all these things? Because they, like you said, they're crazy things.
Yes.
And in isolation, like we're laughing about them. This sounds insane, but there's obviously a reason behind these minute, like total control.
Every single thing you do. One of the things that
it's discipline, control. It's getting you to do things that in normal life you would go, "Don't be silly, mate. I'm not picking my phlegm off the pavement." But in an army environment, because it's flipped a switch in your brain where I'm going to do the things that are asked of me, regardless of how crazy I think they are.
Yeah, but that's the point, right?
Because you need to learn to do that.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
But then there's also like, yeah, that's the point. And all that I like, total respect. Like all the guys, like the men and women I've served with, and the men and women that are going to serve.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be an incredible time for you. But it's detail oriented.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I get up and I make my bed.
Yeah.
Like immaculately.
Yeah.
It's like first thing I do, and it's ingrained in me to do that.
Yeah.
And then the army has first thing, it's an amazing thing for me because I'm enjoying my life. I'm now not the guy who's got a crackhead mum. Yeah. And I'm now not the guy who doesn't have a dad. I'm Erin in the army.
Yes.
New version.
Yep.
Got a skinhead. It's going well.
I'm a soldier.
I'm a soldier now. And I was like, right, this is my reset. I'll go and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then, the army just teaches you great frameworks. And obviously, there's one thing about the military. I did serve. I went to Afghanistan.
Yep.
But I don't talk about it. Not out of any other thing than I have a big story, and they're some of the bravest men and women I know.
Yeah.
Talk very quietly, and I won't speak over them. So, if you have soldiers in, love to hear their stories. I've got plenty of fun stories from there.
Yeah.
Some really wild ones. I ate bread made from a bloke who used to stamp on it. It's foot bread.
Yeah.
It was
yum.
Yum yum. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some crazy things happen, but I don't talk about that area, not because I'm not ashamed of it, just because I have space for other soldiers and other people in the military to talk about their experience.
Okay, I respect that. I really respect that.
So, but there's some things now. Now my brain's starting to come into capacity. I'm thinking, okay, well, what can I learn from the army? And I'm looking around, and the army's not full of the world's smartest people. The army's not brilliant because, fucking, we get all the high IQs. The army's brilliant because you have extreme ownership over very small roles, tiny things. Be like, I know the absolute hell out of that. Like, and I can do it, and I can do it, and I can do it, and I can do it all the time, and I can do it whenever you need me to, and I can also do a little bit of your role. It's like an organism, and that's the true power of it. And then this is when I started to learn the frameworks of how can I apply that elsewhere. So before go on.
No, I mean, I shouldn't have interrupted you because I just was getting interested there, because we've spoken before about these. There are replicable frameworks that you have learned through the army, but I also don't think it can surely just be through the army. Everything that you talk about must be infused by the whole experience of your life and the way that you approach life, which is even the lessons that you learned at the age of 6 and at the age of 9 and at the age of 15, that at every single one of those pivotal points in your life, it feels like you had a milestone lesson which you absorbed, which has framed the person that you've become.
Yeah.
Which means that you probably have a very unique perspective on these frameworks. These are not army frameworks that are just like, here's a worksheet, off you pop.
Yeah.
You know?
5 minutes on yourself, come back, we'll review your work.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wish the army was like that. No, it's not. Yeah, I agree. Maybe I've not seen it like that. But, yeah, I agree. My tendencies now at this point are like, it's like coming together. So I've taken fine. The army for me was a fun experience because I didn't care what they did to my physical body or my mental body, because I was like, I've been through... Oh, blah, blah, you're shouting at me.
Yeah.
And the army is just people shouting at each other all the time. And they'll say the weirdest things. The weirdest things. I got called a cock-juggling thunder cunt once.
Did you?
In the middle of the night, he woke me up.
Wow.
He woke me up. My boss woke me
I think
up.
anyone's ever called me that.
Yeah, it woke me up because it does something wrong.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh,
wow.
Oh, he went, I'll fucking kill you.
Oh.
Cock-juggling thunder cunt. I was like, right, I'm in trouble again. I'm not sure why.
First ever C-bomb on Create Brave as well.
Oh, yes, sorry.
No, it's fine.
All right, that's right.
We'll do a little disclaimer at the beginning.
Beep it out. But the army taught me some things about a team, about myself, and about how you approach things.
Yeah.
Like being on time, even though I was slightly late today, being on time and having the right stuff. If you're on time for a meeting and have the right stuff and you have a small amount of preparation, you're usually 90% ahead. Like if I come into a meeting and I've got a frame, I've got an opening, a middle and a close already, and I'm not hosting the meeting, you know that I'm really interesting.
Yeah.
And the army's the same. Make sure you're on time. Make sure 5 minutes before, you'll hear it loads, 5 minutes before, 5 minutes before, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Down the chain, everyone has 5 minutes before. So by the time you go to do something,
You're
I'm
like
3 hours
early. Yeah.
Bus is at 9. I'm outside my house with the bus picking me up at 4.
Yeah.
Stupid. But then also one of the best frameworks it teaches you, and it ingrains, is it's my weapon, my kit, myself.
Yeah.
So you always have to keep your weapon like super clean. It has to be like absolutely ready to go at all times.
Yeah.
And it's the most important thing for you because it is the thing that will guide you through, right? As long as the weapon's working, life isn't like super duper bad. When that stops working, probably pretty bad.
Yeah.
So you can apply that. Like my weapon is your mind. What am I doing for my mind? Like the reason you do what you do well in business, the reason people do well in life is because they've weaponized a part in their mind where they can be competitive, or they have an edge, or they can provide a service. But either way you will look at it, when you really boil it down, is that you are just doing something better than someone else.
Yeah.
Your weapon is the same factor.
Yeah.
My kit is what I would describe, if you have a team, is your team.
Yep.
If you haven't got a team, it's your body. Yeah. How am I keeping my body sane? You run like a quadrillion miles all the time. You're definitely sorting that out. So yeah, my kit. So what am I doing for my body? Maybe that doesn't mean, what I really hate is you don't have to be, you can be successful and you might be overweight. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you want it, who cares? If that's not your version of success, there's more success to be had there. But if you don't want that, who am I to tell you?
Yeah.
That's successful for me. That's something I want to have, be in good shape. Yeah. But you look at them things, and then so my weapon, my kit, and then myself.
Yeah.
Am I looking after myself? Truly looking after myself? And what does that mean for me? Some people that means I write down why I'm a good person.
Yeah.
Some people it means that
having hobbies or having a social life or having meaningful connections in your life or giving yourself time to do things that are outside of work, things that nourish your soul.
Yeah. No, I have none left. So mine's very tiny. I don't have to do many things for myself.
Yeah.
Have I being courteous and kind and polite.
Yeah.
Outside of that if I can manage to do that, I feel like a good person.
Yeah.
And
I really like that, because I think we can so overcomplicate the path to living a good, fulfilled, successful, in massive inverted commas, because everyone's definition of that is different, life. And my mind, my kit,
my weapon,
my kit, myself. My weapon, my kit, myself.
Yeah.
However somebody wants to interpret those things enables them just to focus on the three key, whatever those key areas are for them.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what, and almost, I like it. It's like armor up, armor up to be able to go and do the things that you want to do, to live the life that you want to live.
100%.
But you cannot do just two of those.
Yes.
So I cannot just have, do all the training and do all the work and all the hustle and have nothing that's looking after myself, which might be the nourishing relationships, or the, I've got a pet, or I've got whatever it might be that gives that extra dimension to who I am. And I cannot just, have, my weapon and myself without thinking about where's my kit, because it's your kit, I guess. Well, I mean, and I think this is where the correlation between kind of body and health comes in. I always see it as like, it's your toolkit, isn't it? So when you need it, it's there.
100%.
You've got what you need when you need it. Like the strength to be able to do the things that you need to do.
Yeah.
I'm always grateful for the fact that I run and I'm capable of running. Fills me with a lot of gratitude because of the things that it enables me to do. It's my toolkit, the strength of the engine that I've built.
Yeah.
The cardiovascular system that I've built in my engine, the strength in my muscles, what that means for me in my life long term as well.
But the strength that you felt from like doing all that stuff as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You realise that you're not made of glass. When you're up on a mountain, you're alone. No one else is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do that to you.
Yeah, that feeds into the, your own mind. And I always talk about like this toolkit of resilience that you build up, this evidence of proof that you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
You cannot just do that without having the backup and
you can't do that. You can't do that with like your version of like when I say that pain doesn't have a face.
Yeah.
Your version of pain, my body doesn't. My body's felt pain in the same way yours has.
Yeah.
All I've done is mine has a different name.
Yeah.
So like now. And then when you do that and you think about that toolkit and you think about, well, what's it taught me? Taught me that I'm ready now to, in work, and now this is when I start getting work stages, that I can put myself through, fruit myself through suffering that maybe my competitor can't, or I can put myself in a position of going, I've done all these really hard things. Yeah. This is not that much of a hard thing. So it's something you should, like, I think it's a really good piece of advice for someone.
Yeah.
And then the only other piece of advice that really comes out of the army is you're only as fast as your slowest man.
Yeah.
You're only as good as the worst part of yourself.
Yeah.
There's terrible parts of me, which is why and I'm fine with that, but you're only as good as, like, when you apply that to like business and you apply that to be like, there's one area of my business, what's the slowest part of my business? Yeah. Who's struggling the most? Who needs the most support? That isn't a bad thing. That's just where your teams are anchored. Yeah. So increase the anchor, increase the pace.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what you do. We take. I am part of my job in the army as a PT. I used to run people around mainly because I got punished so much. I got.
You running from tree to tree.
Oh my God! I got punished so much that I was just like, what am I doing? I was such a cocky fighter. No, never. No.
You've changed so much.
Oh God, yeah. Growth. I'm growing all the time. And I was just like, I was like, why am I doing this? I'll be like, the guys that are punishing me, I'll just become one of them. Yeah. Because then I'll be unpunishable again.
Yeah.
So, and I got so ridiculously fit just because they were like, you're not learning your lesson because, like, something's not clicking. Yeah. But then this is where, and then stuff happened and I left the army. I left the army in a medical discharge. And this is when I really realized that I am fully made of grit. Like, I'm just grit all the way through, and it's on every layer of us. And I really enjoy it. Makes me quite hard sometimes, and it makes me hard to communicate with. But when I went out in the world on my own, I was like, I'm just full of grit. This is who I am. I'm not gonna. I'm really hard to break down or break into, it doesn't mean you can't accept other people's views and you can't go and see like how other people live their life. But what it means to me is that grit just allows me to pick up and do the same thing over and over again with no results. Yeah. And it comes on to my next point of I learn, and now as we step out of, so all this bad stuff's happened to me when I was 6 and 9. And then all this good stuff. I met all these great people that still care for me now. And I still speak to and I still love and I care deeply. Then I went out and just went mental and was in the army and loved that experience, and then went to war. So I was in Afghan when I was 18. Yeah, I know. And then came back, then left, and I was like, right, I've reset. I've been absolutely weaponized, and when I mean hiring a soldier or hiring someone from the military is the most unfair advantage you could ever give your business. It's ridiculous. You have to keep them on task. You need to know how to communicate to them. But they'll just walk through walls for you just because by its nature, they've just been taught to.
Yeah.
So, then they'll just go and go.
Yeah.
But I have some that work for us. I keep them away from the rest of the business. They don't get to... I'm like, do not speak to this part of the business.
Yeah.
You just go off and do your stuff. Make sure you have speak with me.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, don't pick up the phone to anyone else because you'll communicate to someone the wrong way and you'll upset them.
Yeah.
And they'll just be like, what? And they swear. I'm just like, that will upset someone else. Don't do that. But then this is when I started to realize, okay, and this is how I framed it in my mind, and this is what in business I have a real problem with. It's about cutting down your tree. Cutting down your tree. If I told you that I had a way, if I said, hey, I've got a way that you can cut down this huge tree, we've got a huge tree in front of us, you can cut it down in one swing.
Yeah.
You'd tell me to fuck off. You'd be like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
But then online, now you frame that online, this secret hat that gets me to £10,000 a month. Are you taking the piss? Are you taking the piss?
Don't.
But that's because, so you have to, where people are in their lives now, where I view people in their lives is when you go to look at your trees, there's a certain amount of trees you can and can't cut down.
Yeah.
And I came out of the military and was like, what do I want to go after? And because you have to continually go after it. And it's like, you have to continually chop at your tree. And if someone says, hey, I've got this hack.
Yeah.
In 19 days, I've built an AI trading bot that makes me £10 million a minute. You are the part of the product.
I mean, Erin, you preach to the choir here when it comes to that. You know, that is the... It's everything that I kind of stand for and talk about so often on the podcast and in the content that I produce on other platforms as well. Is really about you have to do the work. You have to do the work. There is no shortcut. There is no life hack.
Let's make a clip. Let's make the secret. You know when they're like this one secret. Look straight down the camera and be like, this one secret made me and Claire £1 million a minute. There is no fucking secret. There's never been a fucking secret. It's not like it just continually. If you said like you could put it like just reframe it in your head like okay, LeBron James or like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan didn't pick up a basketball, chuck it once, and go straight to the top of the NBA and go, all right, that's me, lads. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's it. I did that one time, no practice.
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think that, I mean, just to really relate this back to your story and where we started, which was the shiny lights and the trophy cabinet.
Yeah.
Like Erin's trophy cabinet of accolades and success, which is, you know, I'm not downgrading any of it at all. It is highly impressive what you've achieved from a work perspective, what you've produced, but we very rarely get the opportunity to hear the story that gets somebody there. And actually, I think that your story is the story of your life and the experiences that you've had since a young person, because the lessons that you learn or forced to learn at such a young age have clearly stayed with you and shaped the man that you are today.
The way I viewed it from very early on is my parents gave up on me and they missed, and it frames it into your head that I've missed out on my parents. And people you struggle with it. You don't know what to do with it. You sit and go, oh, what could I have done better? Sometimes there isn't anything you can do better. That's just not going to be the thing for you. You're just not going to go, oh, yeah, this is like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. Yeah. So my advice and the way I took it was, I am going to leave no stone unturned. I'm going to go so far past what is going to be unreasonably expected from me. I'm going to go so greatly beyond my own capability and then prove that there is without any reasonable doubt that I am absolutely the thing you missed out on and not the other way around.
Sure.
And I will give you absolutely no access to me for it.
Yeah.
That was my last sign of love for myself. And that means I have to do everything to the critically most high standard I can, because that's my proof metric that I am. Like, when people run and you go run really hard, you're giving yourself a sense of value.
Yeah.
I achieve as my sense of value, and I like it. I don't, which is really hard to beat. You have to be able to like the pain or suffering you pick to go through, and you have to be able to visit it, and you have to be able to say, yeah, this is the hill I'm going to die on.
Yeah.
And the hill I'm going to die on is I'm going to just leave nothing unturned. By the time I'm finished, I will be surrounded. This mountain isn't climbed yet, and I'm going to be surrounded by awards. I'm going to be surrounded, and not for any other reason. I couldn't give a fuck if someone talks about me or not.
Yeah.
What I do care about is that when I sit down and I look around, I can look back on my life, and I've got plaques. So I've got plaques in my house. I've got newspapers. I was featured by Microsoft. We did an Apple. Like, all these things is an undoubtable amount of proof, and such an extreme amount of volume that any outcome bar success is just so far off the table, just because I will continue to stand back up, and I'll continue to do the same thing, and I will continue, and I will continue. And that, if you put that all together, and you can build yourself into that, you're terrifying. The man who's willing to learn and look dumb but continues to learn is a hard man to beat. And I'm happy to admit I'm dumb in some areas, and I'll ask you every question about it, but I'll learn about that.
Yeah.
And as I learn about it, I believe people in their life have superpowers. I believe that you have one or two gifts. My gift is I learn very quick, because I was forced to learn very quick. So I have to take in lots and lots of knowledge as quickly as I can and then apply it. So I just use that. That's it. I don't do anything else, really. I just learn fast.
Yeah.
I learn really fast, and I make it really pliable. And then once that happens, then I can understand, okay, well, how do I push this forwards? How do I turn this into a tangible outcome for someone to have, like, I don't know, a better experience of a product, a better revenue stream? And that's where I think it comes from. So my advice, what I found coming out of the army, was I'm going to pick a tree and I'm going to continue to cut it down.
Yeah.
And if I could restart, and if I could have like a hobby or a side business, it literally would be, and it'd be open to everyone. But obviously, I can't talk for the female, for women, and I won't. But I can talk for guys, and I would love to do, like, you can come, you can buy a tree, I'll give you an axe, you have a bottle of water, and you can cut it down. Just cut the tree down. And when it's cut down, you can turn it into a chair or something. Because it teaches people about repetition has value.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to sit and go, this is going to suck and it's going to be shit. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to get no results. I'm not going to feel any better. I'm not going to get the client. It's not going to impress anyone. I'm not going to, 6 people on Instagram are going to see it.
Yeah.
Got to cut down that tree, brother.
I think it's something that, the world is really valuable for the world to hear that message right now. We could, I feel, I know we've had conversations in the past. I know we could kind of talk forever and really talk about, even touching on, what you've done with work and where it's got to, and even reflections upon how that relates to your story. But I just wanted to say a massive thank you to you for your rawness, your vulnerability, openness, sharing the things you've shared today, and the things you haven't spoken about, at least in a public sense before. Fills me with it's incredible to hear.
Thank you.
And extremely powerful. I know it will impact people to hear it in the way that you frame it.
Yeah.
I have one last question, which I'm just curious about, and relates to the name of the podcast, I guess. And it's been in my mind as you've been talking. Do you consider yourself to be a brave man?
No. I'd consider myself an ability to tap into being brave.
Right.
10 seconds of bravery. I think I have about 20 seconds of bravery, but it recharges.
Yeah.
I can be brave for about 20 seconds. I think that it's a hard question.
Yeah.
It's a hard question because bravery feels like fear.
Yeah.
But no one ever tells you that.
Yeah.
No one goes, the line between being brave and being really scared is like a little decision.
Yeah.
I would like to think that I have about 20 seconds in us, and I could be brave for about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And usually with that time,
That's
you can
enough.
go up to the girl.
Yeah.
You can go up to the girl. You can, you can go through the door. You can, whatever it is you can do.
Yeah.
You can
And then you're in it. Yeah. And then you've moved through. Yeah.
No, I'm just now, I'm forced to continue what I've started.
Yeah.
Because I'm a completionist.
Yeah. Courage is taking the first step, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But no, I really appreciate you having me. And it's, I'm trying to offer this up for someone. If I can reach someone to say that I live in a cave much deeper and much darker than yours, and I'm never going to come out of it. Yeah. But I come out and I visit people, but I go back to it, and that's okay. That's okay. It's part of you now. Relax, use it, weaponize it, point it in the right direction. Because if you don't, it'll point you in the direction that it wants you to go, which is only going to be more painful.
Yeah.
Harness it. That's my view. And if you feel sorry for yourself, I understand, but you have to be able to use it, and you have to tap into that place in your mind. And hopefully this and my story and where I am in my life is some kind of guide to say that there is a way through, and it's not pretty and it's not nice and it doesn't stop, but you can be nice with the people and you can get the things you want. Yeah. So maybe that is brave. Who knows? I
think it's very brave.
Well, thank you.
Erin, how can people connect with you if they wish to?
Smoke signals.
Spray pigeons.
No, yeah, I'm starting my TikTok journey now, for like just general socials.
Yeah.
But then
I'll put the links in the comments, shall I? I'll put the links in the bio.
Yeah,
like and subscribe.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, I won't put that link in.
God forbid someone's got a secondary business. Yeah. No. God forbid.
God forbid.
What?
Man's got to eat. Come on.
I've got therapy to be prepared for.
Thanks so much, Erin. It's a joy as ever to speak to you, and I am eternally grateful for you, for your, like I said, your honesty and rawness and sharing your story.
Thank you, Claire.